Tuia ki te rangi, tuia ki te whenua, tuia ki te re tangata, tau mai te mauri o te manawa ora, hei arahi a tātou, hui te marama, hui te ora, hauni e, hui e, kai ki e.
Okay, me kariki a tātou. Tuia ki te rangi, tuia ki te whenua, tuia ki te here tangata, tau mai te mauri o te manawa ora, hei arahi i a tātou, wānanga te ora, wānanga te marama, haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. So shall we begin with just a little bit of ko wai koe and maybe a zoom over like what you do and your mahi and yeah, how you got to what you're doing now.
O he uri tēnei no ngā tipiki o rawa ko ngā puhi, no Rotorua a hau. Ko Ariana Grant tōku ingoa. I was born here in Rotorua and it's good to be home and to be back here because I did spend some time overseas. And I suppose a lot of who I am and how I've developed over time in my life has been heavily influenced by my upbringing, which was of Christian background. Both my mum and my dad were very, very dedicated. My mum still is. Dad passed away when I was 24. But right to the end, he definitely devoted a lot of his time to that. And I suppose that set the foundation for my spiritual understanding and my curiosity around that space. I'm part of a blended whānau, so I have 5 brothers, 3 sisters, and they're all from everyone. You get what I mean?
Yep.
Blended whānau, but I'm the only one that my mum and dad had. So I often feel like I've always been a little bit different, I suppose, to all of my siblings. But that's one part of my journey, I guess, that has influenced my curiosity around understanding people and learning more about who they are and how they can connect to themselves. My history in terms of my mahi was really based around physical well-being when I was a personal trainer, and that developed into nutrition, which developed into mindset stuff, and probably right after my dad passed away was when I started to question a lot of things. And maybe a couple years after his passing, I tested different parts of spirituality and different parts of personal development, and just put myself in all of these different spaces to get a feel for what connected to me. Because I guess a lot of my upbringing was guided by the Christian upbringing, which I appreciate. But this time it felt like this is my turn to discern what feels aligned for me. I didn't have the words to articulate that back then, but over the years, that's and in reflection, that's what I see. So probably the biggest part of my life, the shift happened when I decided to dive into this space of mindset, of soul translation, of going deeper into self-connection and self-reflection, and helping people to articulate who they are and to understand it and to build a relationship with those words and with the frequency and the mana and the mauri that they hold. Because once we have this beautiful combination of kupu that can really speak to who we are, we have direction. We start to take action from that place. So that's what's developed over time, especially over the last few years, where I've been coaching and mentoring and doing my business stuff as well as working with Rangatahi. people from all walks of life, from all pockets of the community, I've been able to adjust what used to just be for wāhine into couple spaces, into kōrero with tāne, into young rangatahi, sort of around the 12-year-old mark, and then the older teenagers and things like that. So it's been quite interesting. Learning how to diversify the art of soul translation and the art of coaching, and really just helping people to reconnect with who they are at a soul level. And I say that because I think culture and the roles that we play in our lives, for example, mother, artist, teacher, whatever it is that we're doing,
horse rider,
they're all expressions of our mauri and our essence, and they're all pathways of expression. In this lifetime we might have lots of things that we choose to do that, and the most important part of my mahi is to bring people and centre them and anchor them into that truth of who they are, but also to just like remind them that you can change your mind and that you will evolve, and the different people you meet along the way will certainly have an influence on how you see the world and how you make sense of yourself and the relationships that you have. So yeah, I lived 10 years over in Aussie, came back in 2020. That's when I started my business of coaching, and over the last 6 years I've just been developing that and refining it. And I guess what I've learned about myself is that I'm so observant and intrigued by the patterns that I recognize in people and in relationships, and I guess my gift of being able to articulate that is what has helped me to be able to bring words to the frameworks that I've created as well, and to make sense of people's different life situations that they might be going through, that we all commonly go through as adults. So yeah, I guess that gives a little bit of insight. I don't have any children, but I am a mother of many, and an auntie to many, and I think that's been beautiful for me actually. I've not talked about that before.
Being an auntie.
Just the gift it is to be able to watch my friends' children grow and to be a part of their development and to build really beautiful relationships with their kids. And also just to learn heaps. I've learned so much from observing all my friends and all their styles of parenting and all their versions of relationships as well. But I really appreciate and treasure auntie. Being auntie.
Auntie's so important. I think, like you said before, you haven't talked about it before, and I think maybe that's not talked about enough around the important role of aunties. And I think we kind of like throw that around and like joke about like auntie, but like in all seriousness, like just how valuable an auntie is, and I suppose how you can show up in a conscious way in that role as well, and that's been the blessing, because for probably a total of 4 years I've lived next to one of my best friends, her husband and their 4 children, whilst also living with her brother and his partner and their puppy child. I've also become auntie too. But yeah, in total that's how many years that I've been a part of their life quite intimately. And yeah, it's been beautiful to see all the kids grow, see all their personalities come out, and to be able to be a safe landing space for them to kōrero and talk through their things, or even just to hold them and give them cuddles. And you know, like I say to them, I'm like, you better not stop cuddling when you get older, alright? Every time I come in here and you come in, you're like, auntie, give me a cuddle. You better be doing that when you're 15. You better not get too cool for me.
I feel like aunties kind of always are cool. Like, it's mum and dad who are like less cool, and then as the parent you're like, oh. But also at the same time, like, yes, auntie's still got a little bit of say.
You have the little secret conversations and you're like, can you tell my son?
yeah, weave this into the conversation.
Yeah, it's been cool and such a blessing, and it's so special.
Yeah,
gives me a little sneak peek into what papakainga life might look like.
Yeah.
And now that I'm living here in this whare, which is on just a piece of land looking over the lake, and it's stunning, but it's on my own, so that's been a shift that I've been adjusting to. But I'm enjoying it, and I think what it tells me about my journey and about what I do is that safety and security is something that I carry within myself, and that I get to develop and build, and my understanding of who I am at a soul level helps me to be able to be here on my own and be okay with that.
So
that's
no
not to
matter
say I
where
don't
you
get
go,
on with that.
hey?
No matter where you go. I still embrace the human experience of loneliness or feeling a little bit like, oh, it'd be nice to have a chat with someone. I just talk to myself, really. Or start drawing.
The cows outside.
My mates.
Yeah, it's interesting, and like, see, this is why we have notes, because I'm like, oh, brain is like off on a tangent. But one thing I've been thinking about within my community of like the hoiho, the horse community, is, and I think it shows up in many places, but this idea of cancel culture, and I think maybe this is also a symptom of like loneliness and living separate and not being in community. Is it makes it so easy to just, as soon as somebody does something wrong, they're cancelled, sort of thing. And I think about community, and as you were talking about like your experience living around whānau, and especially over a long period of time, like you have to learn to work through things together, and you can't just be like, cancel, like see you later, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting whakaaro that I haven't really thought much about, but when you think about, even when people sort of started learning about boundary setting and stuff like that, even those can be weaponized and utilized as a way to cancel someone out. But you're right, the effort and energy that's required to be able to work through something and to come to a place of recovery is, I don't think that that's something that people, I think that they have been separated from that for a while, and maybe it's also not something that people even know how to do well, which comes into play a lot with the mahi that I do in terms of relationships and communication, and learning how to have those hard conversations with different people in your whānau, and you can't speak the same to every person in your whānau. Not everyone speaks the same language as you, or has the same sensitivities, or understands things the same way. And an example of that is, if I'm having a kōrero with my friend's 17-year-old daughter, and we're talking about a topic, the way I talk about that topic with her will be different to how I talk to her 8-year-old son. Yeah. Right, so naturally...
Same topic, but different way of explaining things, communicating.
Which, common sense, you know, most people will go, oh yeah, that's common sense, but it doesn't seem to be taken into consideration when we're just talking to different personalities, different adults, because we all have a different flavour to our communication style, and we've got to humble ourselves a little bit and take time to like listen and understand what a person's trying to say, and what they're meaning, and what emotional connection they have to that,
to those words, to that body language, to that energy.
And that community component has become so important to me in the last few years. And when you speak about cancel culture and I guess the loneliness, I have felt that too, the loneliness side of things, living over in Australia when I was so separate from community and from the people that knew me well, and just from our culture as well, and the people that just get it.
Oh, just talking about like the communication side of things, that took my mind across to another detour, but takes my mind across to the way that we're communicating with horses as well, and just again, like, it feels like common sense, but I think when we're in the moment, maybe with our own patterns of communication, we just keep showing up in a particular way, and it's not necessarily being met by the person, the rangatahi, the partner, or our horse as well, and then we find ourselves kind of, I suppose, going around in circles, or getting stuck, or
and it not being received well. You know, there being resistance, or there being misunderstanding, or things spiraling into something that probably doesn't need to happen. But even when I had my experience with you, with the huiho, and learning about the way that you communicate with them and how you feel into their needs, that sort of telepathic communication that happens, that was very impactful for me to understand that, because what I was able to witness was you in your area of creative genius being able to translate the language of the huiho, and being able to be in relationship with them, and to understand their needs, and to meet their needs, but then also them meeting you as well, and there being this beautiful exchange of mauri happening. And when I watched that, when you did it, and then got to have a little go at feeling into their energy, and where there might be tightness, or where there could be resistance in their body, I thought to myself, oh, she just does what I do, but for people. It's like the same stuff. So it's really, a lot of it is about moving with what you're sensing and feeling, and offering what's needed, but not forcing it, letting it flow, letting it happen how it's meant to. But there's still clear safety and boundaries in place as well. And there's a mutual understanding that happens, even if we're not speaking English to the huiho. There is this agreement, I suppose, that's being made between you and them. So to experience that, because prior to, I will say, guys, that I was like pretty scared, because I had not had positive experiences with huiho in the past.
You had been on horses, but just thinking back to then, you'd been on horses but had a bad experience.
I'd only had 2 encounters. The first was being bucked off at some family event. Like, it was just one of those things where they have horses there, and you can jump on, and
you're throwing on the horse and
chuck them on the horse, and then I would only been about 6. And then not long after that, my mum jumped on a horse, and it, obviously she hadn't felt into it. There was no like preparation for that. She jumped on, and then it just took off, and then she flew off the horse because it started boosting and broke her hand. And I'll never forget that, because she had to have surgery and everything for her hand, and so, you know, those were my 2 experiences. So the reason for me coming to see you was for my whānau. So I was like, oh, it's for them, you know, it's all good. I'll just be here.
And then the next thing you knew,
and then they're like all coming up real close to me, and I'm like, oh my god. But because they really do, they come right up close to you. So for me, that was quite a brave thing for me to do. And even just getting on the horse and just feeling into it. But one of my most memorable moments was when you shared about the way that you feel into the tightness in their body, or where they might be needing to relieve stress. And you kind of just, I guess it's a little bit like healing in a way, or
Mahi wairua.
Where you sort of place your hands in different parts of the horse. And I remember placing my hand just on the back of this one. I can't remember, it's the black one.
Chrome. Yeah.
Back of Chrome. And then I just remember looking at Chrome's face and just looking into Chrome's eyes and just thinking, wow, you're beautiful. And feeling the need to hold Chrome's face, and more so around the jawline, and just sort of like holding his face and seeing the shift happen. It was like, you can't really explain it. I was holding his face, and then suddenly he just dropped in a little bit more and gazed a little bit further down, and then his nose started running. And it was a really beautiful moment that we had.
Powerful way.
Very powerful and very real for me. And it also made me feel like, oh, I'm magic. Like, I was like, is this the thing I can do? Like,
start cradling people's faces.
Wait, do I just need to touch people when they're healed? Am I Jesus?
What did I just do?
It was really special, and that's like locked in my memory. And another thing to mention as well is that my cousin that I brought in for the whole purpose of meeting up with you and that, she'd never had that kind of experience with horses too. She's very experienced with horse riding and took care of horses, but does it over in Sweden, so totally different approach that they have over there, and very much a dominant relationship that they have to the horse, and you just get it to do what you need it to do, and you force it if they don't listen, and it's very much like that. So her coming and having your kind of experience, she recently shared with me that she does it from since then. That's how she works with horses now.
That's so cool. What a beautiful ripple effect.
It is. It's stunning. And she went on to do some mahi down south. She went on to do mahi over in Iceland for 3 months, and she just finished about here down in Metsurangi, doing some work with the horses down there as well, and taking tours and stuff, but working with them in that way.
Nice. That's so cool. So just from two sessions hanging out together,
pretty much. And I think really it's those kinds of experiences with the hoiho that only happened because of her openness and willingness, and my openness and willingness to park my fear and just be like, you know what, this is beautiful, like acknowledge presence, be with this moment and what it's offering you, because there's so much that you get from those little moments.
It's kind of the leaning into the places where we have fears, like there's so much to learn in those places, but also not just like diving in a stupid way, like setting foundations around that. So I think we talked about like setting boundaries for yourself and for the horse as well, so that you didn't feel like you were outside of, like way too far outside of your comfort zone where you might end up getting hurt. And the same for horses as well.
And just learning about how they can sense what you're feeling and those anxieties and everything, and just honouring that on our end as well as honouring it on their end when they're not wanting to be ridden yet, or when they're not ready, you know, to do what you're wanting them to do. Giving that autonomy, and I think that's beautiful, especially when you think about the stature of a horse and how powerful they are. I spoke a little bit about this in a recent podcast about the masculine energy being like restrained power, and that's what this makes me think about,
Yeah.
is that for hoiho, I see that it combines both masculine and feminine energy in its essence, but its stature and the way that it holds itself feels like the masculine to me.
energy.
And knowing how powerful they are and what they're capable of and what they could do to me.
Yeah.
Yet they respect the boundaries, they respect the agreement or the relationship that you have both created. Whether it's a new relationship or a nurtured one.
Yeah, and it's interesting because now I come back around to that idea of community. Like, they only know community. I guess, well, they should only know community, and this is where we run into some really big issues in the horse world, and a horse's mental health is in this westernized world of working with horses. Often they're taken out of that place of community, and we see massive things arise. But when a horse is well in itself and it has that po of whānau and community, then when they come into relationship with us, if we can meet them at that place, which is also innate to us, then it does just flow. And it's like you said earlier, it's like that without language, it's the unwritten language of community and in being in relationship.
Yeah, and I feel like I can understand why it was done. You know, why they pulled them out, both hoiho and us. Māori, from our natural ecosystem. Yeah, and to me, everything is that. Everything is an ecosystem. Us internally, or not just to me. It's science. You know, everything has its own ecosystem and requires different components in order for things to be well. And when things are not well, they all come together to ensure that they are well again. And the hyper independence and the I can do it myself attitude is suffocating our relational intelligence and our emotional intelligence, and we're having to relearn how to be in community and how to have the conversations like we were saying before, because it has been so lost for so long. And I suppose too, when you think about just the way our systems are structured, a lot of it pulls people aside. And even now, me working in the mental health space for Rangatahi, for our young ones, and seeing the way that our organisations work together or not.
Again, a reflection of whole order,
it's manifested at a micro level and a macro level. And you can see that there are some organisations that are willing to work as an ecosystem and to work together, which is beautiful, and that's what I'm really trying to nurture within that space. But you can also tell that they're really used to, a lot of us are really used to working in silo, working on our own, and they're doing beautiful things. That's the thing, like everybody's got these amazing kaupapa and they're meaning well and they're driving some really stunning programs and opportunities for Rangatahi to be able to be well again, our whānau to be well again. But not many of us are working together. And when I got into it, I guess I just expected that. I just thought, surely this is just how it works.
Everyone links hands and
and there is that to a point, but it's like I say, there are also a lot of gaps in nurturing those relationships, and it can be better. And I guess, you know, I came back to Rotorua thinking it was temporary, but it's looking like it might not be.
You are here.
I am here. I will dabble and travel, but I think there's work for me to do here in Rotorua, and one of the things that I would love to see is that community aspect being experienced at the micro and macro level, and for all of those organisations that are doing amazing things for our whānau.
Yeah.
To know each other well,
Yeah.
you know? To know
Yeah.
each other well, and to know what language we each speak, and what our expertise are. And I'm often working with a rangatahi who's working with multiple organisations.
Yeah.
And I've made it my job to ensure that I know what each organisation is doing for them, and to know who that person is and what role they play and how they do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that that
It's
happens
not a common
sometimes.
thing.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah. I'm kind of like thinking through to Te Ao Māori, like my Rongoā practitioners, a beautiful place in Pūtāraru. I love going there, and they really have that sense of community. Like, there's a whole bunch of practitioners there, but if they sense that you might need what that person has to offer, then they'll bring that person in, and I'm like, oh, it's so cool. Like, I'm kind of like, well, that puts aside ego and like this thing of like, I've got to be the one to fix it all sort of thing, and really linking arms to work together for the greater good.
That's a massive thing, is integrity, to knowing when you're working with someone, or even when you're just, this can be also in relationships as well, with whānau, with your partner, siblings, all of that. We all go through things within our communities where someone might be struggling or someone's needing some support.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, people do think they need to be the one to be the helper and to give the support. But if there's no, if the person who's needing the help and support isn't receiving that well, then you're probably not the person for it. And it's nothing personal. It's just that a different lens, a different language, different energy is probably required to be able to soften their hearts, to be able to receive support. And maybe that approach is what's needed. Somebody else's approach is what's needed. It's putting them at the centre of it and not us.
Yes, yeah. Which is, it's so us, often. It's like there's this person or horse, and they have the issue. I don't want to say issue, but
they have the answers too.
Yeah.
You know, so because all we do is we reflect back to them who they are and what they are, the beauty of them, and maybe the darker parts of them too that are challenging and that need shifting or that are holding them back. And to be a safe space to be able to reflect that back to them, and then for them to be able to say, okay, I'll sit here and I'll listen to that perspective or to that tool that you're bringing to us or bringing to me. When I talk about being a soul translator, and even with the mahi that you do with hoiho, there's a lot of inquiry that happens, there's a lot of curiosity that happens, right, to learn about what's best for them. They're giving you the answers. They're showing you what resonates. They're showing you what's empowering for them. And we must be willing to listen and hear and exchange roles of tuakana taina in that dynamic constantly, instead of trying to grip on to that authority or that place that I hold in this relation. That's, again, it's letting go of the ego, and it's like, this is it, this dynamic itself is a part of an ecosystem as well. And when that person goes back to their space or their home or their mahi or wherever they're going back to, the way that they settle in their mauri will have a ripple effect and will have an influence on whatever next space that they move into. And like you said before, right, the ripple effect from my cousin coming in and her now practicing in that way from a couple of days. You know, so we just never know how far our influence can go and how nourished and nurtured a seed can be, and that's the wonder of it all, I guess. That's the excitement of it all. You just may never find out either.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes reciprocity, sometimes it does come back from that person, but sometimes it goes just out into the world, and then it might come back into you from this way. And I'm always curious and fascinated by that as well. Yeah.
And I suppose it's all energy if you think about it, like in a spiritual sense. Or, you know, if you think about what goes around comes around, karma, cause and effect, all of the different
ways of looking at it,
or words that you can use for the same thing.
Yeah.
But if that's energy that you've given and that's a seed that you've been planted, eventually you'll see you'll reap the rewards or the harvest of that.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's one thing in Te Ao Māori is like there's so many whakatauki about like the kakan or the seed that's planted, and this idea of being tupuna and guided by our ancestors, but the focus is on our mokopuna and the next generations. So that makes me think about just that ripple and being conscious of the past and the present and the future. And
sometimes even I think about allowing that mokopuna to lead to that part of us that for me, what I'm considered when I say that, the mokopuna within, for me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So for me, once upon a time, and maybe I still am to my koro and, you know, to my elders, but the moko, but there is a moko within, an inner child that offers so much to me and to each person if they're willing to inquire. And it can be very beautiful in guiding you back to your innocence and back to that intimacy and that vulnerability that we naturally have as kids. That playful, creative side that often gets suppressed and dimmed down in the systems that we work in and the environments that we work in. So I think there's a beautiful, I mean, if you think about the relationship you have with a young child and how gorgeous that is, the love that exists between an adult and their child, and how that can look for ourselves when we go into relationship with the moko within. And there's just like deep, visceral love that a person has for their young peepi.
It's cool. Like as you're just talking about that, I'm thinking like the way that I talk to my little one when he wakes up in the morning, I'm like, Morena, kei te pēhea koe, and like it's this like vibrant, loving, playful energy, and I'm like, damn, like if only I talked to myself like that when I woke up in the morning, or other adults in my life, like why don't I bring that same energy? Like I'm sure I do in a way, but not in the same way that so that's kind of like tapping into that inner mokopuna and bringing it to life,
and it can the guidance can happen at the same time. We can get that guidance from our mokopuna and that guidance from our tupuna, and then our higher self or our soul self, they can all have a wānanga, you know, they can all be a part of the conversation of where we go with this and how we move in the world and how we speak and how we own our purpose or pursue our purpose. I think what this brings to light for me is how influential and important relationships are, and how in Te Ao Māori everything is a relationship. We have a relationship to our whenua, to a ranginui. We have a relationship to our tikanga and our waiata and obviously our people as well. And the list goes on. And we understand that each entity, each component, whether it's a person or a thing, has its own mauri, and we respect that. And we honour that, and we become curious about it. And it's unique, and that's what I feel is, from my perspective, that's what I think the soul is. I think it's mauri. I think it's this unique expression of the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of whenua, or of energy, or it's this really gorgeous uniqueness.
Yeah.
That plants can get, that offer their own uniqueness.
Yes.
But also people and everything else that falls into that. So if we saw things that way more often and adopted that into our way of thinking and into our way of communicating with people and the world, I feel like we'd be a lot more intentional, and we'd have a lot deeper relationships, and we wouldn't have that cancel culture, real abrupt, nope, this is how it has to be attitude, because there's empathy in relationships,
that we all have that mauri, and being curious about it instead of just like and cancel, like there's different extremes of cancel culture as well. There might be like I guess maybe in a healthy way where you might decide like that person or that thing doesn't align with me right now, so I'm going to remove myself and focus on the things that increase my mauri. But then we see more often than not it done in really vicious ways as well, hey?
And it's sad. It's quite disheartening. I understand the need to be assertive, and I understand the need to set your boundaries, but it's also our responsibility to know from what place am I setting those boundaries. Am I coming from a place of reactivity? Am I coming from a wounded space? Because I see this a lot. And if I'm going to be honourable and integral in the way that I move in the world, I'm going to first check myself and reconnect with my values and ground myself when I'm going to make, if I'm going to make these types of decisions about whether or not a person has access to me. Or about what kind of guidelines we're going to put in place for this relationship to be healthy. That vicious way of doing things it's not coming from a place of aroha. It's not coming from manaki. It's coming from pain. Sometimes we need to express the rawness of our emotion. Actually, all the time, I think it's good to be able to have an expression of our emotion. But when we're starting to set a framework or tikanga for a relationship, that needs to be done intentionally. And for that to happen, I must center myself. I must ground in the present moment, and I must tune into my values and tune into who I am as a person and decide from that place, because then I know that whatever choices I'm making are integral. We're not making them from this super excited space or this super frustrated space. You know, these higher ends of the spectrum. We've come to the middle of the pendulum, and we're just centering here, and we're like, cool, okay, this is what I can see clearly, and this is what I understand, and this is what needs to be put in place. For anything that is not clear right now, I can wait. Wasn't agreeing.
Shall we pause in? Quick tangent, because looking at tamata kapua, I was like thinking about tūmatauenga, and before when you were talking about that tāne, that masculine energy from Hoiho, I learned recently, and I really want to do a podcast with these people. I learned that the atua of kararehe animals and Hoiho being in that bracket is tūmatauenga.
Interesting.
And so I'm like, So it's fascinating that you like felt that energy of like the tāne energy in there, and also like they explained it to me that because kararehe and animals, horses, hoiho, are so sensitive to te taiao, they're the first ones to feel when tumatauinga is like speaking to us as well, that rumble in the earth, and so I was like, thought I would drop that in there, and maybe that will also bring about a podcast with these people too.
Yes. That's probably something that we need to vocalise, is to honour and respect their sensory abilities, to be able to feel into what's about to happen next in Taiao, because they haven't, although there have been colonising components to the way that they live now, they're still in it every day, and they still have to observe and watch and adjust to Taiao, so that sense is still very prevalent, and especially in hoiho, which I definitely felt, and it's such a strong energy. It's a very, very, it's quite like, I don't even know the words to explain it, like awe-inspiring, you know, it's very like, wow.
You feel close to nature, when you work with horses.
You do, you do. It's a beautiful thing, and I can see why so many people have that kind of relationship with hoiho and invest so much time, because there's nothing like it, I don't think. Not sure if there is.
Maybe being tangaroa or like, you know, other elements, it's almost like it's a remembering for our wairua, for our hinengaro, for our tinana, of like, this is what it's like to be in tune with te taiao and working with it rather than against it, sort of thing.
I hear you, and it's probably that to me is the decolonisation and the reindigenisation aspect of returning home to yourself and the trueness of who you are and where you're from. Especially for us as Māori, having to reconnect to those things. And even a couple of years ago, I went over to Hawaii and got to witness multiple Polynesian cultures express themselves in their different ways. And when I watched it, I first of all was so proud of Aotearoa, because I'm like, we're on, like, we're so powerful. We're such a powerful pocket of Polynesia, and we bring that mana, man. We bring that strength, we bring that authority to the stage and to the way that we present ourselves and hold ourselves within the art space. What that showed me is, there's a little, can you see it?
A kahu. Beautiful way.
Flying around. We're just acknowledging Taiao right now. We've got out there just, blessing our podcast.
Sometimes they're just like,
you're okay,
come back into the present.
Anywho.
I'm always the same, like last year when the pepe whararoa arrived in springtime, usually you hear them because, they're the pohu that spring is arriving and it's time to plant your kumara, and so usually you hear them. And this was the first time I'd seen one, and I was in a hui because I was working from home, and I was like, like over my screen. Part of me was like, do I just like pretend that we lost reception and be like,
this is what we're just talking about though. The acknowledgement of Taiao, and just in that moment we got to do that. And so, and I guess coming back to what I was sharing around seeing our people and then seeing all of our brothers and sisters sharing their culture, you can really see how much we've re-indigenized and how strong we are in our connection to our culture, and also what they're hoping for. They're really they're using us as as a blueprint
Yeah.
to be able to reindigenize their whenua.
Wow.
And it's quite a stunning thing to see, but also just to feel into the different textures and energies that emanate from their performances, because I felt like we are quite strong and bold and you know, when kapaka happens, it's just this resounding, stunning combination of melodies and we're just super talented.
Yes.
Yeah. Plug that. No bias. But so are our brothers and sisters, and even when I was watching the different Hawaiian demonstrations, and there was a very gentle, beautiful, serene, flowy kind of energy, quite feminine in its expression. There were definitely more masculine expressions, but I still felt the softness in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just honouring that, I think, is really important, and noticing and respecting the differences and the diversity that we have as people, but that we have in our taiao as well, and that's isn't that a part of relationships?
Totally, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like noticing the little things,
Yeah.
acknowledging it, respecting it.
And when we do, like, I reckon, like, as a receiver, like, when you're the receiver of somebody noticing you, like, really seeing you, that feels good, eh?
That's connection.
Yeah.
That is pure connection, and we deserve to experience that.
Yeah.
And we deserve to, if we're feeling guarded about allowing ourselves to experience that, the risk of going into healing and allowing yourself to find that safety and security, or to learn about how to do that for yourself, it's the best risk you'll ever take.
Yeah.
Because to reconnect with that pure connection and to experience it, even if it's only 2 or 3 people in your life, is so rewarding and nourishing and cup filling. It's incomparable. And if you're lacking energy, it's probably because you're not in nourishing relationships. You know, that would be contributing. Many things would contribute, but if you've got all the things in place, you know, you're nourishing your body, and you've got your practices happening for your self-reflection, and you're doing the mahi and healing and all of that, and you're still noticing that your cup feels empty or that you're drained, look at your relationships.
Yeah. What do they look like? What do they feel like?
What are the conversations that you're having? How do you feel during those kōrero, and how do you feel after? Are you the same? Are you revitalized? Or are you drained?
Yeah.
And what's the pattern? Like, how often are you feeling that in those relationships? What's the frequency of that?
What do you think people can do? Like, say if they've kind of gone from this, like, not even really being aware of that, but noticing, like, that they're tired all the time, or feeling grumpy, or, you know, like, snapping at their children or their partner and those sorts of things, to now they've heard you say this, and they're kind of going, actually, like, a lot of the conversations I'm having are negative. Then what? Because I think it's one thing, hey, to, like, have that awareness and then go, okay, now what do I do with this information?
I think this is the part of healing that people don't talk about much.
Yeah.
When you shift and change your values, or you move back into authenticity, you start to realize all the relationships and all the things that aren't aligned anymore. And it's confronting, and it's a little bit scary to see that. So when you feel like you're exhausted and you're seeing a relationship that's consistently draining you, you're saying, what can we do there? Well, my feeling in that would be, how can I create safety within myself to be able to have a conversation with this person where we can either shift this frequency and this dynamic and create maybe certain boundaries or tikanga that do align, and you know, offering a space for them to ease into that, or if there's a refusal to honour those things and to respect those things, then it might be time to step away or to create more distance. And in doing that, you can feel lonely, and you will go through grief and having to let go of people and what they meant to you, because if you've had a friend for 10 years and they've been this for you, and suddenly you're realising that they're not helpful anymore, or they're not revitalising you or bringing you what you need when it comes to relationships. It's a self-audit. We've got to go through it, and I guess that's the thing that people tend to shy away from.
Yeah.
But when it comes to being in integrity to who you are and what you are needing in order to fulfill an authentic expression and to fulfill your purpose in life, then maybe you do have to step away.
Brave, eh?
It is brave, and I also understand though that some people don't have as much control of those situations.
Yeah. Especially our rangatahi, eh?
Yeah, especially our rangatahi. They can't always control what their parents are doing or the environments that they're in. And I do find it difficult helping our rangatahi who are in those situations. But what I do for them in that situation is let's them really work hard at deepening your relationship to yourself and learning what your values are, understanding your emotions, feeling your emotions, learning about what feels right and what doesn't feel right for you, and also looking at your other relationships that you have, whether it be to people or tile, or your culture, whatever, and finding the alignment in those relationships. So what I can't get in my home environment, I can still get from my community, right? And it's the importance of that. And if rangatahi don't have community, let me help you build that.
Yeah, find that, because they are out there, hey. I think I've found, like, in my own healing journey of connecting to Te Ao Māori, our culture, is really finding that sense of belonging. And it might not be in my whānau space, although mum and dad, amazing, just want to say that, but it might be in our wider hapu or iwi, or by joining kapahaka, or like putting ourselves into these places where we do find there is that that mauri that lifts us up, and brings about hauora.
Yeah. I think too, a lot of people feel quite overwhelmed by where to start with that. Yeah. And by having to make that choice, which again can be where you get all in your head and you start to go, oh, where do I start, and all of that. And that's why I'm such an advocate for leaning into mentorship or connecting with, like you say, connecting with groups that do guide you through that stuff. And I also get that it takes a lot of bravery and courage to even like make that decision. And what I'm seeing in mental health is one of the issues is where our rangatahi or our adults they muster up the courage to get help or to reach out for help, and they're not handled with care.
What is it that you're finding that they are made to feel or that they experience in that process?
There's no whanaungatanga.
Yeah.
There's no relationship building that happens. This is not everywhere, I will preface that, but if a person is not handled well, it's usually because they've been brought in siloed, or they've been brought in with their whānau and they've been treated like a number, or they've been treated like a tick box instead of a human sitting in front of me, or they're this thing that I'm assessing to see what disorder you have.
And labels.
And I'm going to tell you what you have. And not actually build a bridge to learn about who you believe you are and what's important to you and what makes you you. They just charge right in, and it dehumanizes our people, and it dismisses their true identity.
Yeah.
It puts a label on them, or it puts them into a category, and it makes, probably is triggering all the rejection and all of the fears and all of the where do I belong narratives that they already have, because they're going through something mentally and emotionally that they don't understand. So I'm speaking with a little bit of passion because I've seen it a lot. And to me it's common sense to build relationships with people and to make them feel safe, especially if you're going to be opening up a can of worms. Like my mental health and my emotional well-being and the things that I've been through that have got me here.
It's scary to open that up and let someone into that world where you could be judged, or like who knows what might happen.
And it's not working, because kids are either going to be, or our adults as well, they're going to have that experience and feel a certain type of way about themselves, or they're not going to want to engage. And why is this happening? Because many of our kaimahi and the people that are supposed to be of service to our rangatahi and to our adults as well, where are they at? You know, and how are they being held accountable, and how are they returning home to themselves and centering themselves and their values and operating from that heart space? How are they connecting into their Māori, whether they're Māori or not? How are they connecting into who they are as people? Their values, their integrity. How are they putting that into action? How are they holding themselves accountable to their well-being and to their capacity of how they serve their people, their clients?
Such a good point around capacity, because people can have great intentions, but if they're way above their capacity, then they're not going to be able to show up. And I suppose that's when you fall into like ticking boxes, like we've only got half an hour, that sort of feel. It's felt,
It is, and that's the tricky part about working in the system that perpetuates that. So it's a rebellion to choose to honour your capacity when working in the mental health space. I'm going to tell you that, because we've all been guilty of burnout. I don't know one person who hasn't. and then when you do go through it, because I went through it last year, it's so full on to be at a place where you're just so exhausted. But it also sneaks up on you. Because I think when you're doing something you're passionate about and that you love and that has purpose, and that you're doing it with all your values, and you're doing it with aroha and manaaki, and you know how important this work is, all of that's true. But what's also true is that we have a certain level of capacity, especially as wāhine, being cyclical and having our different seasons, our inner seasons of our cycles, and it's bringing that into the practical side of this, is that if we are to become more aware of our capacity and to learn about where our energy is sitting each day and how it's interacting with our environments, and we graciously adjust accordingly instead of forcing ourselves to be productive and to tick all the boxes, that's where we can have more sustainable kaimahi, and where we can have more presence in those interactions with our rangatahi. Because I know that I've grounded myself, and that I'm talking the talk. I'm not just here saying you should do this when I'm not.
I just have this thought of like with the horses, we were always taught leave your emotions at the gate, and but what happens there is people show up in ways where if they have had a bad day or something go on, then they might be okay, and then they hit, like maybe the horse does something that frustrates them, and then they like yank on their mouth or something, or they kick them in the guts, and like something that they wouldn't necessarily normally do, but they're at capacity there because they weren't given permission to bring bring them, all of them, into the building, into the round pen or the arena or their time with their horse. And so I think one thing that I do in my practice is I bring all of me in, even if it's like a crappy day, and I'm kind of like, I show up and I'm like, mate, like, talking to my horse, like, I've had a shit day, like, and maybe sometimes, like, I might sit there and have, like, a bit of a cry for a little bit, and then what I notice is it passes quite quickly, and then I can show up as myself. So then I'm kind of, like, thinking to myself, I wonder if we took that same energy into, like, working with a client, like, and, like, could you just be like, far out, like, I've had a really rough day, and my capacity is actually a bit lower today. Cool. There we go.
So as you are sharing, you know, like when you were sharing all of that, that's why I love the similarities in our mahi that we do, because horses can sniff out inauthenticity, just like our rangatahi can.
Brutally.
Yes. And they will show you, they don't care. They will show you what they're sensing, and they'll whether it's through their behaviour or what they say or what they refuse to do. They'll sit there and be like, I'm not looking at you. And they'll give you that resistance because you're not being authentic. Because you're not being genuine. And to show your full self, we do need to be mindful with who we're speaking to, how we do that. So definitely with safe practice. I'm not going to tell you the intricate details of why my day is shitty.
We don't need, right? So that wouldn't be appropriate.
That's not appropriate. But what we can say is exactly what you did is that, you know what, today my energy, this is what I would do in my last kaupapa that I was running at my other mahi, and our layout was, we do our karakia, we talk about how we're doing, and we rate our energy today. How is our energy feeling today out of 10? And sometimes I'd be like, I'm about a 4, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's where I'm sitting. I'm still here, but I'm just letting you know that that's probably how I'm going to be showing up today. And if you're sitting there too, that's ka pai. And what we would do in that sense would, if everybody's sort of sitting at a low level, plans might have been to go out and do something that's real, like, demanding energetically. But what I'm realizing here is like, no, we're not going to teach these kids to abandon themselves and to ignore their capacity. We're going to honour that. And so we'll just do the same kaupapa but adjust the approach to it to respect that capacity. And there is a tact with it, right? When we're working with clients or rangatahi, to still be honest and open and authentic in the way that we show up. And to make it okay. And actually to make it like baseline. This is the expectation when we're in this space.
This is what we do,
This is just what we do. We're honest, we're open, and we can talk about it if we want to. But if we don't, that's ka pai as well. But at least we know and we're aware. And if I know that you're a 4 out of 10 and I'm an 8 out of 10, I'm not going to try and like make you be like me and, you know. Naturally they might though. What I have noticed is that they might be sitting at a 4 and by the end of the day they're up at a 7 or an 8. Because they're energized by our kaupapa or by the things that we're doing, which is really beautiful. But that's not an expectation. That I'm putting on you. It's not a pressure that I'm putting into this dynamic. It's just saying, we'll do these things, and if we feel the same, that's okay. But if we feel uplifted, that's ka pai too, and that's beautiful as well.
Just it's okay with everyone. Where you're at.
And that's where in the system, when you've got these tick boxes and these KPIs that you've got to meet, and when you're feeling the pressure of that as kaimahi, where it can be tricky sometimes to find ways to honour both and respect both, because at the end of the day, we do need to tick those boxes and for funding and whatever, all the things that we've got to do. It's an important part to how we work, but this is where we can actually begin to demonstrate what living in 2 worlds can look like. I can be connected to my te ao Māori side, I can be connected to my essence and who I am, while also operating in a system that has these limitations.
Yeah.
And there is a way for those things to be in relationship.
Yeah.
There is a way.
Things done. Hey. Yeah.
Sometimes it can be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be hard.
Yeah.
Depending on the resistance that comes from either side, but it is possible and I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, eh? And I can see that with horses as well, of like we are placing them in this world that we are expecting them to do all these things that we want them to do, and also we can acknowledge their essence and te taiao and our own as well, and merge everything together. It's an art and it's a dance, but you can do it.
It's an art that we've forgotten, but it's innate. It's ancestral wisdom to be able to do that.
Yeah.
To be able to recognise that 2 things can coexist, 3 things, 4 things.
Yeah.
Because we're operating in an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And all parts of that ecosystem are working at the same time.
Yeah. We've got to have it coming together. Even like I can imagine like, our tupuna, and even people that live like this still, of like, if you've got to get the mata done and if your energy is low, those sorts of things, like you still have to do those things and tick those boxes while also working with how you're feeling. So
there's a level of work, and I suppose you could call it suffering or resistance, or there's got to be some friction, right?
Yeah.
For things to grow.
Yeah.
For things to happen. It's life.
Yeah.
It's just the way things work, and how we perceive it will determine how much we suffer in that. The narratives we give to, the meaning we give to these experiences will determine the intensity of suffering that we go through.
That's so true, eh? Yeah. So maybe instead of like we're having to tick these boxes, we're planting our kakano.
Yeah, this is the way that I get to plant my kakano.
Yeah.
And these are the systems and the guidelines that I have to work within, which is going to apply, because you know what? I'm still going to bring my essence and my soul into this kaupapa. You want me to do this program that's in accordance to these guidelines? Yeah, I'll do that. And I'll just put a whole bunch of flavour on it as well. And bring in so much mauri and so much mana. Because that's the authentic expression of me and the way that I'm going to facilitate this.
Yeah.
Right? So both can be true.
Yeah, that's the place that you get to bring that in.
Yeah. And I think it's fair that we have frustrations and anger towards the system, and that there's a lot of unresolved stuff there, and a lot of trauma that's activated in having to work in that space. And what's also true is that it's our responsibility to recognise the part we play in that.
Yeah.
And to recognise how much we perpetuate our own suffering in those situations.
Yeah, because we can feel, if we're letting our triggers and our mamae around maybe feeling controlled by having to tick those boxes or do those things, then that's going to show up in the way that we are coming into the mahi. Whereas if we sit with that and do the work, then we can show up in a more positive way, an empowered way.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everyone has the luxury of being able to lead their mahi. So I respect that. In times where there's been misalignment in any kind of mahi or any relationship that I've been in, if it's happened consistently and I've tried and it's just not working, I've stepped away. But I also get that our whānau have bills to pay, and that they have real life commitments within their whānau that they need to honour, and being in a space work-wise that isn't aligned with them, or that doesn't have a good energy or a good kind of culture, is a reality for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of empathy and a lot of, my heart hurts for people who have to endure that for really long periods of time, because it can suck the life out of you, for sure. But again, we can still do the work on ourselves and centre in our values and set boundaries where we need to, and notice our narratives and the ways, the meanings that we're creating about those situations too. Because this is something that I learnt from Eckhart Tolle. He talks about suffering in this light as well, where he had this wāhine who was going through chronic illness and suffered physically every day. And she was asking, how do I move through this in a conscious way? Because I do have to live with this. Every day I'm in pain. And his share on this was that it is true that you live in physical pain every day. It's also true that when you talk about that pain and you perpetuate kōrero, obviously I'm not said in Māori, but you know, in his way, in his German accent or whatever, wherever he's from. But if we keep talking about the pain and we keep emphasising that and focusing on all the things that we can't change about the pain, then not only are we hurting and suffering physically, we're also suffering emotionally and mentally.
Yeah.
So you can suffer on this level, just physically.
Yeah.
Or you can suffer triple.
Yeah. In all of these ways.
These ways. And that's what you're in control of. Is that these other components of me, look at the whare tapawha, these other components of me, this taha here is a little bit out of balance, but if I can recognise that, okay, that this pula here is at this point in time in my life, and maybe for the rest of my life may not be what it used to be, but that's where we build up these other taha so that we can feel a sense of harmony. We're not trying to balance everything out to equal. We're trying to honour the different ebbs and flows of what each taha experiences, and then adjust to that and find harmony in that. And that's why observing is really important, because I think we get too pragmatic in our mind of like, no, but this is what balance should look like.
Trying to think our way through it.
This is how it needs to happen, and da-da-da-da. But our people were observers. Our people were talented at noticing patterns. That's how we got here.
Yes.
So if we were to tap into that ancestral wisdom and look at, you know, our internal environment and the seas that we navigate within our own lives, we get to go, oh wait, so I'm the one in this waka and I have others that are on this waka with me, and we all have this mission or this place that we're going to. But these tides and these currents and this weather and all of these different factors that are coming into play are something that I need to adjust to. I'm not going to do it how I want to do it because that's how I want to do it. We're going to drown that way. So let's humble ourselves and recognise the relationship that we need to have with our internal environment and respect that and adjust.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think I talk about this with horses as well. So it's kind of that bringing ourselves, letting go of our idea, bringing ourselves into alignment with te taiao. And the same with horses, like you could swap out the human and the job, or the human and the whānau environment that, you know, we can't necessarily change. But for horses, that might be sometimes, especially overseas, where horses have to be kept in small paddocks or indoors, or you know, they might have to share a horse, or all these different factors that come into play that aren't ideal in having like full beam hauora going on for their horse. But I love that, like looking at how can we observe what parts of them that we can strengthen those sides, that paha or po, to bring it back up a bit, hey?
Yeah.
So like that wāhine with her pain, same with a horse, maybe they have pain, but maybe it's that we bring in more a herd of horses or through their kai or just other parts to help them feel better and not be like te taha tinana wairua hinengaro
all depleted.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then take away like their community as well, then gee, no wonder why like humans and horses are. And that actually like reminds me, I have a partai around horses as mirrors. So I was thinking about like hoiho are such incredible mirrors to us and what we have going on. What are your thoughts on that in that context, but also in your own mahi? And I guess I see one part is a little bit like what we talked about before, of like there's those hidden things, and so how do we bring awareness to that, and then how do we work on those?
To notice what's in the mirror, we've got to have a level of self-connection, I think. So that awareness of those reflections that we see from our poiho and from our people in our lives, we're not going to see it if we're not in relationship with ourselves. And sometimes what we see in the mirror, and this is for anyone who looks in the mirror, sometimes we look in the mirror in the morning, we're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like what I see. This isn't what I saw yesterday. And it's our willingness also to be able to, when we see something that we don't like, we see something that feels uncomfortable, to lean into it.
Yeah.
And to not see it as something that we're going to reject or that we're going to hide or shy away from, but as something that we get to meet. And there's bravery in that, but also there is a level of skill, I suppose, that needs to be acquired to be able to have the capacity and capability to meet yourself in the mirror or to meet what they're showing you. With our poiho, it's, I guess, my experience that I got to have with them. They were able to hold this strength and this mana for me when I was afraid and when I was feeling really nervous about being in their presence. And what they did when I was feeling nervous is they came closer to me. Which I was like so uncomfortable with. But they leant into it and they showed me what was possible. And if I look at that as a mirror, that to me is telling me, it's reminding me of what I'm capable of. That if I lean in closer to the thing that's causing this discomfort or that's causing me to feel a type of way, and allowed that to happen, allowed that experience to happen, that very soon the acceptance of that will soften this experience and it will help me to be able to breathe into it and to see that there is safety here too, and that I am capable of being in close proximity with the thing that makes me feel uncomfortable. And that's the same is true for our feelings with people. That people are going to mirror back to you things that are uncomfortable, and sometimes those things that are uncomfortable are things that are elevating what's beautiful and powerful about you, but we get uncomfortable with that because we don't want to own our power and we don't want to own what we're here to bring, to the table. Is that if I think about me and back sort of 17, 18 years ago, me sharing my voice and speaking my truth was something that I was really afraid to do. I didn't like saying what was on my mind. I didn't like ruffling feathers or putting something out there where I might be judged or putting something out there where I might be shut down. It's now become the most important part of my purpose. Where speaking from an authentic place and speaking my truth is what is essentially awakening people, and it's helping people to find that within themselves. So whether the mirror is showing lighter parts of you or darker parts of you, how deep you are in relationship to yourself will determine how much of that you're willing to see and how far you're wanting to lean in, how closely.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you spoke about that, because as you allowed for them to lean into you, and then you leaned back into them, and then it was like there was that moment that you felt with Chrome where he felt held by you and you felt held by him, and you felt that like just before you said softening, and I was like, that was it, like he softened into that place because you softened into that place, and then you're like, we're here.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the mirror.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the only reason why people shy away from it is because it's this space that they're not familiar with, and they maybe don't have tools to navigate it, or don't know how to move through what feelings it might trigger in them.
Yeah.
If there is an uncomfortable feeling that I am pretty sure is going to happen from me looking in that mirror, and I'm not ready to grow in that, then I'll probably just stay right here.
Yeah.
Stay right here where I am and ignore the mirror.
Even if it means suffering.
Yeah. And if it's deep and unconscious, I'll ignore it without even knowing I'm ignoring it.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's why community is beautiful too, because when we talk about blind spots, the things that we can't see, it's not my job to see every single blind spot. We're not supposed to heal on our own, and we're not supposed to live life on our own. We have these relationships. A big piece to the beauty of community and relationships is that they can see your blind spots and they can tell you.
Yeah.
And the ones that are good for you, the people that are good for you, will be able to do that from a place of love and with your best interest at heart. Like, mate, I can see that this is probably not helping you, and I just need to speak that. What you do with that, up to you, but it would be remiss of me to hold that back. It wouldn't be honourable for me, and wouldn't be integral for me in terms of the values that I have to see something and hold back. There is a time and a place to say stuff, but again, it comes back to your relationship with yourself, to tune into your intuition, to guide you. Is this a time where I speak, or is this a time where I let them learn?
Yeah, and leave it for them in their own time. Yeah. One thing I see often is anxiety with horses, and I think sometimes like we can see that as anxiousness in the horse, and it's not often that I think we take a moment to like look at like, oh, where is that anxiety coming from? And often it's from the human that's in relationship with that horse, and the horse is mirroring that and feeding it back. But instead we think like, okay, like how can I weave around this to I guess not dive into, or looking at ourselves, but sort of just like, for example, like if it was a horse that was anxious about being in a horse float, I can remember one example where the lady was sort of like, okay, and throw the horse in, and we're going to put the door up, and then we're going to zoom off because I know that he's anxious. But from an observer's standpoint, I could see that like actually the anxiety was coming from her feeding on. So, and I think that was probably a blind spot for her to be able to see that. And so like that observer community, and then
that strategy as well, to just like quickly do it, quickly rush, put it through, do the thing. It's the strategy that a lot of people use to move through their feelings, but it's not even moving through them. It's just finding a quick fix to get from A to B.
Mm.
In the sense, she's just wanting to get the horse to wherever you got to go.
Yeah.
And this is where we're too much in our head again, and we're too much in the productivity and the tick box and these are the things that I need to do, and not dropping back into, but what's best for everyone here?
Yeah.
Myself included. Like, I get to be a part of a consideration.
Yeah. yeah.
And so does this person or this hoiho.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, it takes awareness of self, but also relationships in your life that are conscious too, to help you to see those things. Sometimes though, people that aren't even really on that waka can say the randomest things, and it can be like, oh, that's really profound.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily have to come from someone on the healing journey.
Yeah.
So long as we're open to noticing the tohu and to noticing the little activations that happen in our intuition when somebody speaks or something happens.
Yes.
We'll notice it and we'll go, why am I noticing it?
Yeah.
What does that mean to me? And sometimes we don't get that answer straight away, and that's okay. But what I like to do when I notice these little tohu pop up or these little niggles pop up, if they don't make sense to me at the time, I collect them. And over time I'll notice when something else is in sync with that tohu that I had before, and then something else, and then something else. And then I'll bring those tohu together and go, is there a picture yet? Is there something here that I can see that is making sense to me now?
Yeah.
And maybe you start to form that understanding, you start to translate those tohu into something that makes sense to you. But I think, again, it needs to come from the heart, and it needs to be driven by mauri and mana and wairua, because we can gather all these tohu and use our hinengaro to make it mean what we want to make it mean.
Yeah.
And being there too, right? Where we go, it must be this, and this, because this, and this.
Yeah.
And then we take action from that place. And it's not. It's not the thing.
Yeah.
But great lesson, great
Totally.
learning if you're being reflective and you can look back and see that.
Yeah.
At the same time, yeah, it's such a conscious, intentional way to live.
Yeah.
And
Being open, hey.
yeah, being open, and
Yeah.
even just to acquire the skill of being able to go back into the memory bank to grab that tohu,
Yeah.
to add to your kete of relevant tohu that are around that area. Like, it's quite a it's a practice.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think horses often give me these tohu good reminders. Oh, apparently that one's run out of juice. He tohu tērā. Wrap it up, girls.
It's another 2-hour podcast, partner. Anyone who has me on, it's going to be a long one.
I'm here for it. But it's funny because, like, in those tohu and listening to us laugh just now with that tohu, like, I think one thing horses have taught me is, like, to listen to those moments where they're being a mirror to me, and to kind of, like, have a giggle at it.
Yeah.
Like, not taking it too seriously or
Absolutely.
offense to it. Like, shit, like, I did it again.
Yeah, it's not a reflection of you. Like, like, people really do take it personal.
Yeah.
And really do go, oh, no. And then it goes right into the spiral of that,
Yeah.
which kind of pulls away from the point of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I think, too, the art of being in a relationship to yourself, as you begin to learn how to translate those tohu in a way that's actually like what it's intended for.
Yeah.
Like our kaitiaki or tupuna or atua are using these human tools to communicate to us, and it's our job to learn how to interpret it.
Yeah.
But it's also, I mean, you can't expect it of everyone, right? Because it's also, you gotta how many people have access to people that can help them to translate tohu? you know, or to people that know how to be in relationship with themselves. It's few and far between. That's why there's so much gratitude that I have for the people in my life that I can naturally have these conversations with, and I don't really need to translate, because you're hearing me and you see it and you understand.
Yeah, it's going backwards and forwards, hey?
Yeah.
But then I also think, like, we do have so much right there as well, and sometimes it's just going outside and like being in nature as well, so that it doesn't feel too far away.
You're right.
Inaccessible.
You're right. Yeah, that's it. And that's probably, you know, the mind overcomplicating it. Because it doesn't have to be done in one specific way.
Yeah.
And if you don't have access to a way that you prefer, you do have tāne.
Yeah.
And there is what other accessible therapy is as accessible as tāne?
Yeah. Yeah. It's right there.
It's literally we exist in it, guys. We are it.
Yes.
You know, we're a part of it. So yeah. And I think that's probably a key thing here is to also just to allow yourself to simplify things and to try not to overthink it. It's good to have people in your life that can just say 3 words and then you go, oh.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, don't take life too seriously.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Especially for people that are really analytical.
Get up in their head. Yeah, definitely. Maybe is there anything that you want to finish off with in this kōrero? Tying together your mahi, I guess the purpose of this podcast around like how do we decolonize and re-indigenize, with the thought that like we're all indigenous to somewhere. This isn't just about Māori, this is about humans being connected to it all.
Yeah.
And horses.
What I find really powerful about the purpose of this podcast is you're bringing together te ao Māori, mahi hoiho, mahi wairua, haiwara, all in, you're weaving things together, right? Into this really neat, well tied together little bow. Or into this beautiful kete, you could say.
Yeah, cool.
And so that in itself is recognizing how things can be so easily woven together and how things are so naturally interconnected. Because, and that's re-indigenization. That is Indigenous intelligence, is to recognize the interconnectedness of all things and to see the relationships exist in everything that we engage in. And so when you ask that question, this podcast is an example of that. And our kōrero is an example of that, because these things are not separate of each other. Yeah,
it's kind of like the health of the rangatahi impacts the health of the pākeke, of the mātua, impacts the relationship with the horses, with the taiao, with everything. Hey.
Yeah, they don't operate separately.
Yeah.
Whether we want to admit it or not. And honouring that. Honouring the ecosystem, the interconnectedness, the relationships is re-indigenizing. And it's decolonizing the way that we think, because colonization separated us.
Yeah.
And segregated things into different groups that should be this way. And compartmentalized things, which can be helpful when we're trying to make sense of things, but it's not helpful when we're trying to exist and live in truth and in community. So yeah, I suppose community is probably the flavour of today's kōrero.
It really is, isn't it? Te kupu o te rā.
And hapori and connection, whanaungatanga, these are all things that, from my lens, help us to re-indigenize and show us what we naturally are capable of doing. And when we put time into that, we're remembering what we're capable of, and we're strengthening our ability to be in relationship with ourselves and with each other, with Paia, with our koiho, with our Pakehi, with our purpose here in this world. And that's what makes it meaningful and special. And what fills it's the fuel for the mahi that we're doing, because it's big mahi. And it requires a lot of energy, and we're not supposed to do it alone.
And that's why we're sitting on this couch today. Oh, thank you so much, Ariana. I really appreciate this conversation, and I can see it like that time at the hoiho with you and your cousin and that ripple effect. I can see this being another moment of lots of ripples going out. So thank you for sharing your time and your mātauranga, and I'm excited for where things go forward.
Me too. I am too. This is beautiful, and it was just perfect.
Yeah. And I reckon it's time for whana, because my puka is like yelling at me. And I'm so curious to see how good these mics are, and whether like there's going to be like this beautiful corridor from you, and
we're just embracing.
We are. Ka pai. Well, shall we wrap up with karakia? And
Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Kia pai. Kia pai, kia tatai katua, kia te whae, kia tatai anikia, i hikarati. I te aroha o tatua, i te whiwhine, i te tangi, i te lau, i te tangi, ake. Amen.